The wealthy never conform. The art of breaking free from the herd. Lost in the herd. My friend, I'm going to ask you an honest question, and I want you to answer it truthfully. Why do you live like everyone else, but can't become wealthy like the rich? Think about it for a moment. Every morning you wake up at the same time. You take the same route to work. You talk to the same people. You buy the same things. Whatever everyone does, you do it too. But the result? You're still in the same place. Still living paycheck to paycheck. Still saying, someday. This is it, my friend. This is what keeps you poor. Herd mentality. The disease of conformity. And today, for the next 60 minutes, we're going to shatter this mindset. Because the wealthy have a secret. A very simple secret. But nobody told you about it. The rich never, ever follow the herd. They think differently. They act differently. They live differently. And that's exactly why they're rich. You, on the other hand, are poor like everyone else because you do what everyone else does. Does that sound harsh? Good, because the truth is always harsh. But the truth also sets you free. And if you're ready to be free, keep listening. Now look, do you know what poor people do? They look around. My neighbor bought a new car. I should buy one too, they say. My friends are going on vacation. I should go too, they say. Everyone's using this phone. I should get it too, they say. They constantly copy others. They constantly try to fit in because they're afraid. Afraid of being different. Afraid of being excluded. Afraid of looking weird. But the wealthy? They do the exact opposite. The rich ask, if everyone's doing this, why shouldn't I do something else? The wealthy look for difference. They look for opportunity. They go against the direction the crowd is going because they know that the path the herd takes leads to herd results. And what's the herd result? Average, mediocre, ordinary, poor. Think about it for a moment. How many people are wealthy? 1%, maybe 5%. How many people are poor? 95%. Now think logically. If you're doing what the 95% does, which group do you belong to? Of course, the 95%, the poor. It's mathematics, my friend, simple mathematics. This is why you must break away from the herd. You must think differently. You must act differently. When others look at you strangely, that's when you know you're on the right path. You know, most people say, money isn't everything. And they're right. Money isn't everything. But poverty isn't everything either. Poverty means stress. Poverty means fear. Poverty means lack of freedom. The fear of not being able to pay your bills. The fear of not being able to provide for your family. The fear of not being able to afford treatment when you get sick. Is this the life you want? The wealthy, however, don't work for money. They work for freedom. Freedom to make choices. The power to say no. The freedom to live where they want, how they want. Money is just a tool, but a very powerful tool. And now, my friend, I'm making you a promise. When this audiobook ends, you will think differently. You will see your surroundings differently. You will see what the herd does, and you'll say, I'm not playing this game anymore. Because you're different. If you're listening to this, you're already different. Most people won't even open this audiobook. Most people don't want to change. They just complain. But your being here shows something. You want more. You're ready to change. And I'm going to show you the way. The next 60 minutes will change your life, but only if you listen. Only if you apply. Because knowledge isn't power, my friend. Applied knowledge is power. Now, if this message is reaching you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe, because we're building a community here. A community of people who refuse to stay poor. a community of people who want financial freedom. And you need to be part of this movement. Turn on notifications, because every video will bring you one step closer to wealth. Are you ready for this journey? Because there's no going back. Once your eyes are opened, you can never see the same way again. You will see the herd, and you will refuse to be one of them. Let's begin. It's time to learn why the wealthy never conform. It's time to learn the art of breaking away from the herd. Your time. The psychology of conformity. Why your brain wants you poor. Listen closely, my friend. I'm about to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Your brain is programmed to keep you poor. Yes, you heard that right. Your own mind is working against your wealth. And here's the worst part. You didn't even know it. From the day you were born, society has been training you to follow, training you to obey, training you to fit in. And every single day, this programming gets stronger. School taught you to sit in rows, to raise your hand, to wait for permission. Your parents taught you to play it safe, to get a good job, to don't take risks. The media taught you to consume, to buy, to keep up with others. This is the system, my friend, and the system is designed to create workers, not wealth builders, workers. Think about it. Why doesn't school teach you about money? Why doesn't anyone explain investing, passive income, or financial freedom? Because the system doesn't want you to know. The system needs workers. The system needs consumers. The system needs people who follow the herd. And here's what happens. You grow up believing that safety equals success. You believe that a steady paycheck is the goal. You believe that following the rules will make you rich. But look around. How many people followed the rules and became wealthy? Almost none. The people who became wealthy, they broke the rules. They questioned the system. They refused to conform. Poor people believe safety is the path to wealth. Rich people know that calculated risk is the path to wealth. Poor people say, don't rock the boat. Rich people say, build your own boat. Now, let me explain something about human psychology. We are tribal creatures. For thousands of years, being part of the tribe meant survival. If you were kicked out of the tribe, you died. So our brains developed a powerful instinct: conform or die, fit in or perish. This instinct is still inside you today. Every time you think about doing something different, your brain screams, danger, the tribe will reject you. This is why you buy things you don't need. This is why you work jobs you hate. This is why you live like everyone else. Your primitive brain thinks conformity equals survival. But here's the truth in the modern world. Conformity equals poverty. The wealthy understand this. They've trained their minds to overcome this instinct. When their brain says, fit in, they say, stand out. When their brain says, play it safe, they say, calculate the risk. When their brain says, what will people think? They say, who cares what people think? Ask yourself honestly, how many decisions do you make based on what others will think? How many times have you stopped yourself because it's not normal? How many dreams have you killed because nobody does that? I'll tell you what happens. You see someone starting a business and you think, that's crazy. Most businesses fail. You see? Someone investing and you think, that's risky. I could lose money. You see someone living differently and you think, they're weird. I should stay normal. And every single time you think like this, you choose poverty over wealth. Because here's the reality, my friend. Every wealthy person was called crazy. Every successful entrepreneur was told they would fail. Every investor was warned about risk. But they did it anyway. They trusted themselves more than they trusted the herd. Poor people seek approval. Rich people seek results. Poor people ask, "What will my family say?" Rich people ask, "What will my future look like?" Poor people fear judgment. Rich people fear mediocrity. And here's where it gets interesting. The herd doesn't want you to leave. They will try to pull you back. Your broke friends will say, "Money changes people." Your family will say, "Be realistic." Your coworkers will say, "You think you're better than us?" This is called crab mentality. When one crab tries to escape the bucket, the others pull it back down. But you must understand something. These people aren't evil. They're scared. They're scared that if you succeed, it proves they could have succeeded too. Your success makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face their own choices. So they try to keep you where you are, in the comfort zone, in the herd, in poverty. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, my friend, but nothing ever grows there. Nothing ever changes there. You stay the same, year after year, broke, frustrated, dreaming of someday. But someday never comes, because someday isn't a day of the week. Let me tell you about the greatest prison in the world. It's not made of bars. It's not made of walls. It's made of thoughts, limiting beliefs. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lucky enough. I don't have connections. I don't have money to start. These thoughts are your prison, and the key to this prison, it's in your hand. It's always been in your hand. Poor people believe their circumstances define them. Rich people believe their decisions define them. Poor people say, "I can't because." Rich people say, "I will, even though." Think about this for a moment. Two people, same background, same education, same starting point. One becomes wealthy, one stays poor. What's the difference? Mindset. That's it. Just mindset. One person decided to think differently, to act differently, to break away from the herd. And here's what nobody tells you. The first step is the hardest. The first time you say no to the herd, it hurts. The first time you do something different, it's scary. The first time you stand alone, it's lonely. But then something magical happens. You realize you're still alive. You realize the tribe didn't kill you. You realize fear was just an illusion. And then you take another step, and another. And each step gets easier. Each decision becomes clearer. And one day you look back and realize you're no longer in the herd. You've broken free. You're on your own path. Your wealthy path. Remember this, my friend. Your psychology is either your prison or your power. Your mind either keeps you broke or makes you rich. And the beautiful thing, you get to choose. Every single day, you get to choose. So ask yourself right now, am I thinking like the herd? Am I making decisions based on fear? Am I letting others control my future? If the answer is yes, it's time to change. It's time to reprogram. It's time to think like the wealthy. Because the psychology of conformity is powerful. But the psychology of independence is even more powerful. And you, my friend, are about to learn how to harness that power. The financial cost of conformity. The million-dollar mistake you're making. My friend, let me show you something that will shock you. Something that will make you angry. Something that will change how you see money forever. The cost of fitting in isn't just emotional. It's not just psychological. It's financial. And it's massive. Right now, as you listen to this, conformity is stealing your future. Every time you buy something because everyone has it, you're giving away your wealth. Every time you upgrade because it's time, you're sacrificing your freedom. Every time you spend to impress, you're choosing poverty. Let me give you a real example. The average person buys a new car every 5 years. Why? Because that's what people do. The car works fine, but it's old. And old means poor, right? Wrong. Old means smart. New means broke. Here's the math, my friend. A new car costs $35,000. You finance it because everyone finances. You pay interest. You pay insurance on a new car. You lose 20% value the moment you drive it off the lot. Over 5 years, you spend about $45,000 when you include everything. Then you do it again, and again, and again. Now let's say you buy a reliable used car for $15,000. You keep it for 10 years. You invest the difference. That's $30,000 invested. With compound interest at 8% annually, do you know what that becomes in 30 years? Over $300,000 from one decision, one choice to not follow the herd. But it gets worse, my friend, because the car is just one thing. Let's talk about the phone. The latest iPhone, $1,200. You upgrade every 2 years because everyone does. That's $600 per year. Invested over 30 years at 8%, $75,000. Gone, because you needed the latest model. Clothes, designer brands, expensive shoes, luxury watches. Why? To look successful. But here's the irony. You're spending money you don't have to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like. And every dollar you spend is a dollar that could have been building wealth. Poor people spend money to look rich. Rich people save money to become rich. Poor people care about appearance. Rich people care about assets. Let me tell you about a study. Researchers looked at millionaires in America. You know what they found? 80% of millionaires drive used cars. They live in modest homes. They don't wear designer clothes. They look average. Meanwhile, the people driving luxury cars? Most of them are broke. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're drowning in debt, but they look successful. This is the trap, my friend. Society taught you that wealth is about showing off, but real wealth is invisible. Real wealth is in your bank account. Real wealth is in your investments. Real wealth is in your freedom. Think about social media. Everyone posting their vacations, their new purchases, their expensive dinners, and you feel pressure. You feel like you need to keep up. So you book a vacation you can't afford. You buy things on credit. You go to expensive restaurants. Why? Because everyone else is doing it. But here's what you don't see. Those people are broke. They're maxed out on credit cards. They're stressed about money. They're prisoners to their image. But they won't tell you that. They'll just post another picture of their fake success. The wealthy don't post on social media. They don't need validation. They're too busy building actual wealth. They're investing. They're creating systems. They're multiplying their money. While the herd is competing for likes, the wealthy are competing for millions. Now let's talk about the biggest conformity trap of all. Credit cards. Society normalized debt. Everyone has credit card debt, they say. It's normal, they say. Just pay the minimum, they say. But here's what they don't tell you. Credit card interest is usually 18 to 25% per year. That means if you carry a $5,000 balance, you're paying $1,000 in interest annually. That's $1,000 of your wealth gone every single year. Poor people use credit cards to buy things. Rich people use credit cards for points and pay them off immediately. Poor people pay interest. Rich people earn interest. Poor people work for the bank. Rich people make the bank work for them. Ask yourself this question. How much have you spent in the last 5 years trying to keep up? The cars, the clothes, the gadgets, the vacations, the dinners, the drinks, the entertainment? Add it up honestly. $50,000? $100,000? $200,000? Now imagine if you had invested that money instead. Let me show you the power of compound interest. If you invest $500 per month for 30 years at 8% annual return, you'll have over $700,000. But most people don't invest $500 per month. They spend it on things that lose value, on things that don't matter, on things they don't even remember buying. The broke buy liabilities. The wealthy buy assets. A liability takes money from your pocket. An asset puts money in your pocket. Your fancy car? Liability. Your designer clothes? Liability. Your expensive apartment in the trendy neighborhood? Liability. Stocks? Assets. Real estate? Assets. A business? Assets. Poor people collect liabilities and call them investments. Rich people collect assets and build wealth. Poor people say, I deserve this. Rich people say, does this build my future? And here's the most painful part, my friend. Time. You can't get it back. Every year you spend trying to look rich is a year you could have been building real wealth. Every dollar you waste is gone forever. The opportunity cost is massive. Not just the money you spent, but the money that money could have made. Imagine you're 30 years old right now. You have 35 years until retirement. If you invest $1,000 today at 8% return, it becomes $14,785 by retirement. But if you spend that $1,000 on a designer bag or a fancy dinner, it's worth zero. You didn't just lose $1,000. You lost $14,785. Multiply that by every unnecessary purchase you've made. This is the real cost of conformity, my friend. It's not just the money you spend. It's the wealth you never build. It's the freedom you never achieve. It's the retirement you never enjoy. It's the life you never live. But here's the good news. You can change. Starting today, right now, this moment. You can decide to stop following the herd financially. You can decide that wealth is more important than appearance. You can decide that freedom is more important than fitting in. Remember this. Every dollar is a soldier. You can send it to work for you, building your empire, or you can spend it trying to impress others, building nothing. The choice is yours. But choose wisely, because this choice determines your entire financial future. Poor people spend first, save what's left. Rich people invest first, spend what's left. Poor people prioritize today. Rich people prioritize tomorrow. Poor people follow the herd to poverty. Rich people follow discipline to wealth. The financial cost of conformity is your future, my friend. Don't let the herd steal it from you. Herd mentality in career and work. The 9-to-5 prison you call security. My friend, let me ask you something. When you were a child, what did they tell you? Study hard, get good grades, go to a good college, get a good job, work for 40 years, retire at 65, right? Everyone told you the same thing. Your parents, your teachers, your guidance counselors, society. This is the script. This is the path. This is what you're supposed to do. But here's the question nobody asked. Who wrote this script? And more importantly, why? The education system was designed during the Industrial Revolution. Factories needed workers, obedient workers, workers who could sit still, follow orders, do repetitive tasks. So they created schools to produce workers, not thinkers, not entrepreneurs, not wealth builders, workers. And it worked perfectly. Generation after generation, people followed the script. They got their degrees, they got their jobs, they worked their entire lives, and they stayed broke. They called it security, but it was actually a prison. A comfortable prison, but still a prison. Think about it. You trade your time for money. 40 hours per week, sometimes 50, sometimes 60. You sit in traffic. You sit in a cubicle. You answer to a boss. You ask permission to take vacation. You wait for approval to take a sick day. You're building someone else's dream while your own dreams die. Poor people work in a system. Rich people build systems. Poor people have jobs. Rich people own businesses. Poor people are employees. Rich people are employers. Now, I'm not saying jobs are bad. I'm saying trading time for money is limited. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can only work so much. Your income has a ceiling, and that ceiling keeps you trapped. The wealthy understand something different. They understand leverage. They make money while they sleep. Their systems work for them. Their investments grow for them. Their businesses run without them. They've broken free from the time for money trap. But here's what society tells you. Get a stable job. Benefits are important. A steady paycheck is safe. And you believe it. You believe that someone else controlling your income is safety. You believe that someone else deciding your worth is security. But let me tell you the truth, my friend. There is no such thing as job security anymore. Companies downsize. Companies restructure. Companies go bankrupt. Technology replaces workers. Artificial intelligence is coming for jobs. That secure position you have, it could be gone tomorrow. One email, one meeting. We're letting you go. And suddenly, your security is gone. Poor people believe in job security. Rich people believe in skills and assets. Poor people depend on one income source. Rich people create multiple income streams. Poor people fear unemployment. Rich people fear depending on employment. Let me tell you about the reality of corporate life. You work hard. You're loyal. You give your best years to a company. And what happens? They replace you with someone younger and cheaper, or they automate your job, or they move operations overseas. Your loyalty means nothing. Your hard work means nothing. You're just a number, an expense on a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, you watch your boss get richer. You watch the company owners get richer. You watch the executives get richer. And you get a 3% raise if you're lucky. Barely enough to keep up with inflation. You're running on a hamster wheel, running fast, getting nowhere. Ask yourself honestly, in 10 years at your current job, where will you be? Will you be wealthy? Will you be free? Or will you be 10 years older, slightly less broke, still counting days until the weekend? The herd says, be grateful you have a job. The wealthy say, why settle for a job when you can build an empire? Now, here's where people get scared. They think, but starting a business is risky. Most businesses fail. And they're right. Most businesses do fail. But you know what has a 100% failure rate? Not trying. Playing it safe. Following the herd. That has a 100% chance of keeping you broke. Poor people see risk in entrepreneurship. Rich people see risk in depending on a job. Poor people fear failure. Rich people fear regret. Poor people think, what if I lose money? Rich people think, what if I never try? And here's something else. The wealthy don't quit their jobs recklessly. They're smart. They build side businesses. They create additional income streams. They invest. They prepare. And when their side income exceeds their job income, then they transition. That's not risky. That's strategic. But the herd doesn't want you to know this. Your coworkers will say, side hustles are too much work. Your family will say, focus on your career. Your friends will say, you're crazy to think about quitting. Why? Because if you succeed, it exposes their excuses. It proves they could have done it too. But they didn't. They chose comfort over growth. They chose security over freedom. Let me tell you about passive income. This is what the wealthy build. Rental properties that generate cash every month. Dividend stocks that pay you regularly. Online businesses that earn while you sleep. Royalties from intellectual property. These are income streams that don't require you to trade time for money. Poor people have one income stream, their job. Rich people have 5, 7, 10 income streams. Poor people work until they're 65. Rich people retire at 35 or 40 if they want. Poor people are slaves to their paycheck. Rich people are free. Think about this, my friend. Your salary is the drug they give you to forget your dreams. It's just enough to keep you coming back. Just enough to pay your bills. just enough to survive, but never enough to be free, never enough to escape. That's by design. They need you dependent. They need you obedient. They need you in the herd. And here's the worst part: time. While you're working, your 9 to 5, your boss is building wealth. The company owners are building wealth. The investors are building wealth. But you're just getting older. Trading your youth, trading your energy, trading your time. And time is the only thing you can never get back. Poor people sell their time cheap. Rich people value their time highly. Poor people think, I make $25 per hour. Rich people think, my time is worth $1,000 per hour, so I only do $1,000 per hour activities. Now, what's $1,000 per hour activity? Building systems, creating assets, strategic thinking, investing, learning high-value skills, networking with successful people. These activities multiply your wealth. But the herd spends time on $10 per hour activities, scrolling social media, watching TV, gossiping, complaining. These activities multiply your poverty. Ask yourself, what did you do yesterday that built wealth? What did you do last week that created assets? What did you do last month that moved you toward financial freedom? If the answer is nothing, you're in the herd. And the herd is heading toward a cliff called retirement poverty. Here's the reality. The retirement crisis is coming. Social Security is broken. Pensions are disappearing. Most people have less than $50,000 saved for retirement. They've worked their entire lives and have nothing to show for it. Is that what you want? Is that security? The wealthy don't wait for retirement. They build financial freedom now. They create systems that generate income without their labor. They invest aggressively. They think long-term. And they break free from the 9 to 5 trap decades before the herd. Remember this, my friend. Your job is not your security. Your skills are your security. Your assets are your security. Your multiple income streams are your security. Your ability to create value is your security. Everything else is an illusion. Poor people build someone else's dream. Rich people build their own. Poor people are cogs in the machine. Rich people own the machine. Poor people follow the career path the herd takes. Rich people create their own path to wealth. The 9 to 5 isn't security, my friend. It's a comfortable trap. And you have the key to escape. The question is, will you use it? Social circle and relationships. The 5 people making you broke. My friend, here's a truth that will change everything. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that for a moment. Your income, your mindset, your habits, your future, all of it is the average of your closest circle. Now look around. Who are your 5 people? Are they broke? Are they complaining about money? Are they stuck in the same place year after year? If yes, then I have bad news for you. You're going to stay exactly where they are, because the herd keeps you in the herd. This is one of the most powerful secrets the wealthy know. Your environment shapes you. Your circle influences you. Your relationships determine your results. And if your circle is broke, you will stay broke. Not because you're not capable, but because you're surrounded by broke thinking. Poor people surround themselves with other poor people. Rich people surround themselves with other rich people. Poor people comfort each other in poverty. Rich people challenge each other to grow. Let me tell you about crab mentality. Put crabs in a bucket. One crab starts to climb out. What do the other crabs do? They pull it back down. Not because they're evil, but because if one escapes, it proves they all could escape. And that's uncomfortable. That's threatening. Your broke friends are the crabs, my friend, and you're trying to climb out of the bucket. But every time you try, they pull you back. Don't take that risk. Don't start that business. Don't invest. It's dangerous. Be realistic. Come back to our level. back to poverty, back to safety, back to the herd. And here's the worst part. They do it because they love you. They genuinely believe they're protecting you. They've been programmed by the herd to fear success, to fear change, to fear anything different. So they project that fear onto you. Think about what happens when you talk about your dreams. When you say you want to start a business, your broke friends say, "Most businesses fail." When you say you want to invest, they say, "You could lose everything." When you say you want financial freedom, they say, "Money isn't everything." They kill your dreams with their fear. But when you talk to wealthy people, they ask different questions. What's your strategy? How can I help? Have you considered this opportunity? They encourage you. They connect you. They invest in you. Because wealthy people want others to succeed. Success doesn't threaten them. It inspires them. Poor people compete in scarcity. Rich people collaborate in abundance. Poor people think, if you win, I lose. Rich people think, if you win, we both win. Now let me talk about family. This is hard, my friend, but your family might be holding you back. Not intentionally, but they have their own programming, their own fears, their own limitations, and they project those onto you. Your parents might say, "Get a stable job." Why? Because that's what they did. That's what worked for their generation. They want you safe. They don't understand that the old rules don't work anymore. The world changed. But their advice didn't. Your siblings might say, "Who do you think you are?" Why? Because if you succeed, it makes them question their own choices. Your success becomes their mirror, and they don't like what they see. Your relatives might say, "Remember where you came from." Translation: don't rise above us. Stay at our level. Don't make us feel bad about our choices. This is the price of breaking away from the herd, my friend. Some relationships will change. Some people will distance themselves. Some will talk behind your back, and that's okay. It's the price of freedom. It's the price of wealth. It's the price of becoming who you're meant to be. Poor people sacrifice their future to maintain relationships. Rich people sacrifice relationships that hinder their future. Poor people fear being alone. Rich people fear being held back. But here's what happens when you change your circle. Everything changes. You start thinking differently. You start seeing opportunities. You start taking action. Because you're no longer swimming against the current. You're swimming with people going the same direction. Imagine spending time with people who earn $10,000 per month. What will you learn? How to earn $10,000 per month. Now imagine spending time with people who earn $100,000 per month. What will you learn? How to earn $100,000 per month. Your circle becomes your curriculum. The wealthy understand this. They join masterminds. They attend high-level events. They network strategically. They invest in relationships with other successful people, not to use them, but to learn from them, to grow with them, to build with them. Poor people network for jobs. Rich people network for opportunities. Poor people ask, "Can you hire me?" Rich people ask, "How can we create value together?" Let me tell you something about energy. Energy is contagious. Broke energy is contagious. Victim energy is contagious. Complaining is contagious. If you spend time with people who blame the government, blame the economy, blame their circumstances, you will start blaming too. You will absorb their excuses. You will adopt their limitations. But wealth energy is also contagious. Success is contagious. Action-taking is contagious. If you spend time with people who are building businesses, making investments, creating multiple income streams, you will start doing the same. You will absorb their mindset. You will adopt their habits. Think about your last 5 conversations. What did you talk about? Did you talk about opportunities or problems? Did you talk about growth or gossip? Did you talk about building wealth or complaining about money? Your conversations reveal your circle, and your circle reveals your future. Poor people talk about people. Rich people talk about ideas. Poor people gossip. Rich people strategize. Poor people waste time. Rich people invest time. Now, here's what you need to do. Audit your circle. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, write their income level, their mindset, their habits, their trajectory. Be honest. Are they going where you want to go? If not, you need to make changes. This doesn't mean you abandon everyone, but it means you become intentional. Spend less time with people pulling you down. Spend more time with people pulling you up. Join communities of wealth builders. Attend seminars. Read books. Listen to podcasts. Surround yourself with success, even if it's virtual at first. And here's what will happen. As you grow, some people will fall away. Let them. Some people will criticize you. Ignore them. Some people will miss the old you, but the old you was broke. The new you is building wealth. And that's worth losing a few relationships that were holding you back anyway. Remember this, my friend. You cannot soar with eagles if you're scratching with chickens. You cannot build wealth if you're surrounded by broke thinking. You cannot escape the herd if you're still running with the herd. Poor people fear loneliness more than poverty. Rich people fear staying broke more than being alone. Poor people maintain toxic relationships. Rich people build empowering relationships. Your circle is either your launching pad or your anchor. It's either propelling you toward wealth or drowning you in poverty, and you get to choose. Choose wisely. Choose strategically. Choose people who believe in abundance. Choose people who are building. Choose people who are going where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, success is not a solo journey. But it's also not a journey with people who don't believe in the destination. Find your tribe, build your circle, surround yourself with wealth, and watch how fast your life transforms. The herd will judge you. Let them. The crabs will pull. Resist them. The broke will criticize. Ignore them. Your wealthy future is waiting, but first, you need to change the 5 people making you broke. The consumption trap. Why you buy what you don't need. My friend, let me show you the biggest scam in modern society. Consumer culture. And it's designed to keep you broke forever. Every single day, advertisers spend billions studying your brain, finding your weaknesses, triggering your emotions, making you feel incomplete without their product. You see an ad, you feel desire, you buy. You feel good for a moment, then the feeling fades, so you buy again. Always buying, never satisfied, always broke. Poor people buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't like. Rich people buy assets that generate income. Think about your closet. How many clothes do you actually wear? Maybe 20% of what you own. The rest? Wasted money. Society sold you a lie, that happiness comes from stuff. New phone, new happiness. New car, new happiness. But studies prove it. After a brief spike, your happiness returns to baseline. You're back where you started, except now you're broker. This is hedonic adaptation. You get used to everything. That luxury item you craved? In 3 months, it's normal. But the money is gone. The debt remains. Poor people confuse wants with needs. Rich people distinguish clearly between the two. Let me tell you about 2 people. The minimalist millionaire drives a 10-year-old Toyota, wears simple clothes. Nobody knows he's wealthy. But his bank account? 7 figures. He's free. The Instagram millionaire? Luxury car lease, designer clothes on credit. Looks wealthy, actually broke. Drowning in debt, slave to the image. The irony is painful. The people who look rich are usually poor. The people who look average are often wealthy, because real wealth is invisible. Ask yourself, when was the last time you bought something to feel better, to fill a void? This is emotional spending, and it's keeping you broke. Poor people spend money to feel rich. Rich people invest money to become rich. Here's what the wealthy understand. Every purchase is a choice. Buy that $1,000 luxury item or invest $1,000 that becomes $14,000 in 30 years. Every single purchase is choosing between temporary pleasure and permanent wealth. The consumption trap is engineered. Credit cards make spending painless. Buy now, pay later removes consequences. Social media creates comparison. The entire system is designed to extract money from you, keep you consuming, keep you working, keep you broke. But you can escape by becoming conscious, by questioning every purchase. Do I need this or want this? Is this building wealth or destroying wealth? Poor people are unconscious consumers. Rich people are conscious investors. Let me give you a challenge. For 30 days, track every single dollar you spend. Every coffee, every snack, every subscription. At the end of 30 days, you'll be shocked. You'll see where your wealth is leaking. Most people spend thousands per year on forgettable purchases. That money could be building wealth. Remember this. Every dollar you spend on consumption is a dollar you can't invest in wealth. Every moment of temporary pleasure is stolen from permanent freedom. Poor people prioritize looking rich. Rich people prioritize being rich. Poor people follow consumption culture. Rich people create financial freedom. The consumption trap is powerful, my friend, but now that you see it, you can escape it. The financial education gap. What school never taught you about money. My friend, answer this honestly. How many years did you spend in school? 12 years? 16? Maybe more? Now tell me, how many hours did they teach you about money, about investing, about building wealth? 0. Nothing. Not one single hour. Think about that. You learned algebra you'll never use, history dates you'll never need, but money? The thing you'll deal with every single day of your life? Nothing. They didn't teach you. And that's not an accident. That's by design. The education system was built to create workers, not wealth builders. Workers. People who get a job, follow orders, work until 65. The system needs employees. It doesn't need entrepreneurs. It doesn't need investors. It needs obedient workers who don't question the game. Poor people graduate school ready to work. Rich people graduate and learn how money actually works. Here's what they never taught you: the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Your house? Liability. Your car? Liability. Your stocks? Assets. Your rental property? Assets. Most people spend their lives buying liabilities thinking they're building wealth. Poor people accumulate liabilities. Rich people accumulate assets. They never taught you about cash flow. Poor people focus on their salary. I make $60,000 per year. Rich people focus on cash flow. My investments generate $5,000 per month. Salary is limited. Cash flow is unlimited. They never taught you about compound interest. Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. Invest $500 monthly at 8% for 30 years, you'll have over $700,000. But nobody taught you this. So instead of investing, you spent. And now you're broke. Poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them. They never taught you about taxes. The wealthy use tax laws legally to pay less. The middle class pays the most. Why? Because employees get taxed first. Business owners and investors get taxed last. Different rules for different classes. But school never mentioned this. They never taught you that your mindset determines your wealth, that your beliefs about money shape your reality, that money is evil programming keeps you poor, that scarcity thinking blocks abundance. But the wealthy know this. They reprogram their minds for wealth. Poor people say, "I can't afford it." Rich people ask, "How can I afford it?" Poor people see obstacles. Rich people see opportunities. Here's the truth. If you want financial education, you must educate yourself. Read books, find mentors, take courses, listen to podcasts, surround yourself with wealthy thinking. The school system failed you, but you can fix that, starting today. The financial education gap is real, my friend, and it's keeping you broke. But now you know. Now you can change. Now you can learn what they never taught you. The question is, will you? Mental transformation, breaking free. Reprogram your mind for wealth. My friend, everything starts in your mind. Your bank account is a reflection of your mindset. Your financial situation is a mirror of your thoughts. If you want to change your wealth, you must first change your thinking. Poor people think poor thoughts. Rich people think rich thoughts. It's that simple. The first step is awareness. Catch yourself when you think like the herd. When you say, "I can't afford it." When you think, "Money is hard to make." When you believe, "Rich people are lucky." These are broke thoughts, and broke thoughts create broke results. Replace them. "I can't afford it" becomes, "How can I afford it?" "Money is hard" becomes, "Money flows to me easily." "They're lucky" becomes, "I create my own luck." This is reprogramming. Poor people accept limiting beliefs. Rich people reject them. Next, learn to say no. No to the herd. No to social pressure. No to bad investments. No to time wasters. No to people who drain you. Every no to the wrong things is a yes to wealth. You must develop thick skin. People will criticize you, call you crazy, question your choices. Let them. Every successful person was called crazy first. Embrace it. Criticism means you're doing something different, something right. Poor people seek approval. Rich people seek results. Build discipline. Motivation fades, discipline stays. Wake up early, read daily, track your spending, invest consistently, build your side income, every single day. No excuses. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Visualize your wealthy life. Every morning, see yourself living in abundance. Feel the freedom, taste the success. Your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. Visualization reprograms your subconscious for wealth. Poor people focus on problems. Rich people focus on possibilities. Remember, transformation isn't comfortable. Growth hurts. Change is hard. You'll want to quit. You'll doubt yourself. You'll feel alone. That's normal. That's the price of breaking free from the herd. Pay it gladly. The mental shift from broke to wealthy is the hardest work you'll ever do, but it's also the most rewarding. Because once your mind changes, everything changes. Are you ready to think like the wealthy, my friend? Practical steps and strategies. Your wealth-building action plan. My friend, enough theory. Now it's time for action. Here's exactly what you need to do starting today. Step 1. Track every dollar for 30 days. Every coffee, every subscription, every purchase. Write it down. You can't manage what you don't measure. This will shock you. You'll see exactly where your wealth is leaking. Step 2. Build an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is your freedom fund. It protects you from desperation. It gives you the courage to take calculated risks. Start with $1,000, then build to 3 months, then 6. Poor people have no buffer. Rich people have multiple safety nets. Step 3. Eliminate bad debt. Credit cards, personal loans, anything over 10% interest. Attack it aggressively. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar stolen from your wealth. Pay minimum on everything except your highest interest debt. Destroy that first. then move to the next. Step 4. Pay yourself first. Before bills, before anything. Take 10% of your income and invest it. Automate it. Make it automatic. You won't miss what you don't see. This is how wealth is built. Consistently, automatically. Poor people save what's left. Rich people invest first. Spend what's left. Step 5. Start a side income. Use your skills. Freelance, consult, create, sell, build. Just start. Even $500 extra per month changes everything. That's $6,000 per year. Invested over 20 years at 8%, nearly $300,000. Step 6. Invest in assets. Stocks, index funds, real estate, crypto if you understand it, but invest. Your money sitting in a bank is losing value to inflation. Your money invested is multiplying through compound interest. Step 7. Invest in yourself. Read 1 book per month. Take courses. Find a mentor. Learn high-income skills. Your earning potential is your greatest asset. Develop it ruthlessly. Poor people spend money on liabilities. Rich people invest in assets and themselves. Step 8. Change your environment. Join communities of wealth builders. Attend seminars. Network with successful people. Your environment shapes your income. Upgrade it. Step 9. Review monthly. Track your net worth. Celebrate progress. Adjust strategy. What gets measured gets improved. These aren't suggestions, my friend. These are requirements. Do them, all of them, consistently, and watch your wealth transform. The difference between dreaming and doing is action. Take it now. Your choice, the herd or the wealthy. My friend, we've reached the end. But this isn't really an ending. This is your beginning. The beginning of a different life, a wealthy life, a free life. Let me ask you one final question. 5 years from now, where will you be? If you change nothing, you know the answer. You'll be exactly where you are today. Same struggles, same stress, same broke life. The herd doesn't move forward. It just circles endlessly. But if you apply what you learned today, everything changes. 5 years of discipline, 5 years of investing, 5 years of building. 5 years from now, you could be financially free. You could be living on your terms. You could be wealthy. The choice is yours, my friend, and it's a choice you make every single day. Remember what we covered. The herd keeps you broke. Conformity steals your future. Your psychology shapes your wealth. Your job isn't security. Your circle determines your income. Consumption is a trap. Financial education is your responsibility. Mental transformation comes first. Action creates results. Poor people know all this and do nothing. Rich people learn and take action immediately. Here's the truth. Most people listening to this won't change. They'll feel inspired for a moment, then they'll go back to the herd, back to their old habits, back to being broke. Because change is hard. Different is uncomfortable. Success requires sacrifice. But you're not most people. You made it to the end. You're still here. That means something. That means you're ready. So here's what happens next. You take the first step today. Not tomorrow, today. Track your spending. Start your emergency fund. Read a book on investing. Cut one unnecessary expense. Do something. Anything. Just move. Poor people wait for the perfect moment. Rich people create the moment. And listen, you'll face resistance. The herd will pull you back. Your old habits will tempt you. Doubt will creep in. That's normal. Push through. Every wealthy person faced the same resistance. The difference? They didn't quit. Remember this always. Wealth is not about luck. It's not about connections. It's not about your starting point. Wealth is about choices. Daily choices. Disciplined choices. Different choices. You can choose to follow the herd to poverty, or you can choose to break free to wealth. But you must choose, and you must act. If this resonated with you, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, because we're building a movement here, a community of people who refuse to stay broke, people who demand financial freedom, and I want you in this tribe. Share this with someone who needs it. Comment below, what's one money belief you're changing today? I read every comment. Let's support each other on this journey. My friend, you have everything you need. The knowledge, the plan, the choice. Now it's up to you. Will you stay in the herd, or will you become wealthy? The wealthy are waiting for you, but they won't wait forever. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Break free from the herd, build your wealth, live your freedom. This is your life, my friend. Make it extraordinary.